Hello, my name is Bob McBride. I'm the superintendent of Lockport Township High School District 205, and this is your board meeting brief for our board meeting of Monday, March 16th, 2020. Every month I meet with our 7 Board of Education members right here in the Porter Room at East Campus, and there's something very different. Today I'm talking to you on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's quiet here at East Campus. Usually we have 3,000 students in this building, attending class, attending physical education, getting ready for after-school activities and athletics, but it's quiet as we are now in our school closure related to the COVID-19 situation. Before briefing you on our board meeting, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge what this means for our students, for our parents, for our teachers, for our community when we close school for 3 weeks and all worried that it might be longer than that. Surely our hope is that we can have our students back on Monday, April 6th. But of course, we might have to plan for longer, as we all do our part to slow the spread of COVID-19 and mitigate the infection and stress that could happen to our healthcare system. But I want to acknowledge that there is no short measure of disappointment and maybe even grief as all of the things that we anticipate, that we look forward to, competitions, performances, even classes in the spring, both on the part of students and on the part of teachers, have been canceled, have postponed, and even might never occur. We look out into the spring on the horizon of events that we look forward to, and we're uncertain about whether they'll take place. And students, coaches, teachers have put already so much work into making those events happen. It makes them sad, it makes me sad, and I wish that this was not the case. So I want to say sorry to any of the dashed hopes or dreams or events that we've looked forward to. But I know we're a resilient community, resilient teachers, coaches, students, parents, and I know that we will get through this, and we're only going to do it with a whole bunch of patience, a whole bunch of flexibility, and a whole bunch of trust in each other. Also, there's so much to celebrate. At the same time we're sad, I've just seen the best in so many people. The best in our teachers as they've tried to cope with this crisis, my administrative team, the Board of Education that I met with last night that has just been so supportive throughout this whole crisis. I've seen the best in our students. All the way to the end, our students have had smiles on their faces. I met with just a group of girls lacrosse players as they ended their final practice last Friday, March 13th, at about 6:45, and they were just glad to have that final practice, knowing that they knew they might not even have a season, but they were giving it their all. We're here for you. My promise to you as District 205 Superintendent is to support you, to answer your questions, to communicate with you first and foremost, and make sure that you are always in the know about what we are trying to do as a district to support families, students, teachers, and parents through this very challenging time. Most of our meeting last night really did focus on the present school closure that we are involved in. I would advise all parents and students, first and foremost, if you could visit our website frequently. We will try to use every means of communication possible, text message, social media, direct email, phone call, but our website, LTHS.org, is the place to get the most updated information. So please visit that frequently. Our hope in this school closure is that we have our students back on Monday, April 6th. But at the same time, we are preparing if that could be longer. Through this 3-week period, all events, practices, athletic competitions, any kind of extracurricular event are canceled for the time being. We have 2 very important missions that we want to fulfill during this 3-week period. We want to continue learning through the e-learning plan and tools that our teachers have put together and our administration has created. We also want to make sure that we provide meals for our free and reduced lunch students and students who need those and count on those. In terms of e-learning, really our focus is continuing learning, keeping our students engaged as much as we can with what they do in their classes. We understand that e-learning cannot be a replacement for what we do every day in our classes. but our promise to you is to continue learning and keep moving forward. Also, for students who need meals, we want to try to make that as convenient as possible for families and for students, and that's our promise to you. Our board meeting. A number of things last night. One thing that was missing is usually we start our board meeting with resolutions acknowledging students, and that just wasn't possible with new guidance about public gatherings. A few main points. Last night, board member Dick Ives briefed the entire board on the progress this year of the LTHS Foundation. The foundation is such an important part of our school organization. It raises money for important causes, it raises money for scholarships for our students, and Mr. Ives walked the entire board through the efforts this year that the foundation has done to raise money, events that have been just spectacular, like Lunch with Santa, Princesses and Superheroes, our dress resale, and our hope that we can give out almost $20,000 in scholarships this spring. He shared the finances and the future direction of the LTHS Foundation. During my superintendent report with the board, I briefed them on everything that is going on with the state. The current closure that we are in right now, some of the revisions to state school code and state law. For example, our e-learning plan, the school code has been revised so that I can flexibly approve that to meet the needs of our students, the needs of our teachers, and the duration of this closure. Also, I briefed the board on the fact that all of these days will be considered by the state to be Act of God days. What does that mean? It means that these days will not be added on to the end of the school year. That's important as families look forward to their planning. So once again, we hope to have our students back on April 6th, but we're preparing through guidance from the Illinois State Board of Education for whatever may come if that lasts longer. An important piece that we shared with the Board of Education last night was our staffing plan for the 2020-2021 school year. We are in a situation where we will be adding staff to the LTHS faculty. Why is that? Well, a number of things. First off, our enrollment is increasing at Central, our freshman campus. And in order to meet that enrollment increase, we do need to add teachers. Second, we try to follow the course requests of our students. We try to meet those requests, and in a number of areas, our students are increasing what they are taking. They're increasing their participation in career and technology classes, they're increasing their participation in math and in science, and in some ways, that is related to district goals. Those are classes that we want students to be taking. And our Board of Education, our administration, and our building leaders want to provide students with the classes that they are requesting, and we want to provide reasonable class sizes. And then there is a third factor. We see some opportunities next year. We are adding a dean position at Central Campus. We're doing that in order to provide 2 full-time deans, because we know that as our freshmen come in, we have an excellent opportunity to work with them, to work with their needs, to work with their behavior, to get them ready for that 4-year journey into high school. And if we can get it right at Central, we can get it right for all 4 years. Also, we want to create something called Park that is fully staffed. It's an opportunity for our students who struggle in classes to have a credit recovery opportunity so they stay on track to graduate even if they have some difficulties. We hope that our staffing plan, with its increase in staff, is meeting the needs of our students, keeping class size reasonable, and supporting the wants that our parents have for their children's education and their social emotional support. We also had a number of items that aren't the most glamorous items for a Board of Education agenda, such as paving, purchasing new buses, and purchasing new human resources and finance software. All of those things are just so essential. And I really credit our Board of Education, our Chief School Business Officer, Stephanie Croy, and our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Tony Kandari, as well as our Facilities Director, Bill Thompson, for making sure that the backbone of our district, our facilities, both physical and in terms of software, are up to date, are ready and maintained so that we can provide the best services. We have parking lots that need repair. We have software that needs to drive the district. And we need to purchase new buses every single year so that we have safe vehicles on the road for our students. And last night, the Board of Education approved those. We also took a deep dive into our 5-year facility study. This is a study that we do to examine all of our facilities, from our transport center to East Campus to our district office to Central, to see if our facilities are doing what they need to do, what state of repair they're in, and what future costs they might mean for the district. That report really focused on 2 facts. One, Central is an increasingly aging building and requires more and more maintenance, possible renovation, because of its age. And we want to be attentive to that, we want to be aware of that, and we want to do good decision making. So in particular with Central, we're going to do a 5-year facility study of just that building to understand what its needs are to keep it current. Also, East Campus, like so many of us, when you get to a certain age, like myself, it needs just a little bit of maintenance and a little bit of upkeep. We have additions and renovations to East Campus, but as a whole, this building, like any building of its age, does have needs. And we reviewed some of the updates and renovations that will be needed in the next 5 years here at East Campus. Very important for us to keep current with what our facilities need in the future. Our board meeting ended with a communication report from our Director of Communications, Janine Wheeler. And if this week didn't display why communications are so important, I don't know what would. It seems silly that I started my year as a superintendent worried about snow and cold closures, and here we are in a closure due to COVID-19. Communications with you, our parents, with our students, with our staff, they're essential to building trust with you, to building accountability, transparency, and reliability as a public institution. And Janine Wheeler walked the Board of Education through all of the things that we're trying to do as a district to use communications to improve student achievement, to be a reliable public institution, to be transparent with you, to be just in time in our communications, to be clear, and mainly to be accountable to you. She also shared with the board all the different ways that we are developing communications through our website, through video, through social media, through email, through voice, and how in this day and age, people want information in many different platforms so that it's accessible and easy to access. I want to thank you for listening to this board meeting brief at this very unprecedented and very unusual time. As I close, there's so much thanks that I have to give. I have to give thanks to our Board of Education for doing an extraordinary job as public servants in this unusual time. I have to give thanks to my administrative team who has worked long hours to assist and plan. I have to give thanks to our teachers, our union, who have been incredibly supportive as we've crafted an e-learning plan. And I have to give thanks to our custodial, maintenance, our bus drivers, everyone who has pitched in, our secretaries, to keep the good ship, Lockport Township High School District 205, running. And finally, I have to give thanks to you, our parents, and our students, whose resilience is what will get us through this crisis. So thank you so much for listening to this month's board meeting brief, and look for more communications from me and my staff to keep you current as we get through this COVID-19 situation in our school closure.